My name is Mandy Tomlinson, and I am a member of the IT support team, as well as a member of the G Suite transition team. This video is going to cover all of the topics that we talk about in the Introduction to Gmail Staff Development course. If you have any questions about any of the content in this video or any other Gmail questions in general, feel free to email googleguides@grcc.edu. The topics we're going to cover in this video include some getting started information, the Gmail interface. We're going to compose, send, and reply to emails. We're going to discuss a few other G Suite applications, including Hangouts, contacts, and groups, as well as talk about some resources. The transition is going to start at the end of the business day, Friday, May 3rd. At this time, all email will be suspended. Any incoming emails you receive will be held in a queue and delivered to your Gmail inbox when it goes live Monday morning, May 6th. You will still have access to GroupWise until the end of 2019, but you will be unable to send and receive emails or calendar appointments in that environment. You'll have to use the Gmail environment past May 6th. With this transition, we are promoting a clean, fresh start. So you get to choose what's important and comes with you into your new inbox. Your email address will remain the same, and your login credentials will continue to sync. What we have done during this transition is created you a separate Google account. This is called your pilot account. It's going to use your username at pilot.grcc.edu. For example, mine is Mandy Tomlinson at pilot.grcc.edu. This also syncs with your network password, so you'll be able to use the same password to get in here. Anything you do in this environment, however, will not automatically transfer when we go live in May. We encourage you to go in there, play with it, change settings, get things set the way you like it, be familiar with the environment, but anything you do will not go with you. So this is testing purposes only. And now we're going to talk a little bit about Chrome profiles. Now, we are recommending the use of Google Chrome since Google products do tend to work best together. However, that does not mean you have to use Chrome. You can use any web browser that you are comfortable with to access your email and calendar. Chrome allows for the extra feature of Chrome profiles. Chrome profiles are great if you have a personal Gmail account. It essentially creates a separate web browser on your computer, one that you can log into your personal account and one you can log into your work account. This is going to keep those completely separate. It's also going to help avoid any confusion in the pilot environment if you have it set up in a separate Chrome profile. So we're going to go through and create a Chrome profile. I just opened a new window in Google Chrome. If I go to the upper right, there's a little user icon. Right now it has my photo because I've already logged into Google with my production account. So if you click on this user icon, we'll talk more about syncing to the web browser in the advanced class. So we're going to go past that right now and go down to manage people. I click on this. This will show me any profiles that I have set up on this computer. Now, Chrome profiles are local. That means you will need to set it up on every computer that you use. It's not going to automatically follow you. So in the bottom right of this window, click Add Person. Then you can choose a title. I'm going to name mine Pilot. And then you choose an icon. I'm going to choose the puppy. And down here it says create a desktop shortcut for this user. This is going to put a separate icon on your desktop. You click Add. You'll now notice at the bottom of the screen, I have a Chrome icon with the puppy for Pilot, and I have the other little user icon for my other account. From here, I'm going to go to google.com to get started. In the upper right, I'm going to click this blue sign in button. From here, I'll be able to sign in with my Pilot account. So Mandy Tomlinson at pilot.grcc.edu. Then simply click Next. Now this is going to be the same password you use to get into anything else. It's going to be your same network password. Then click Next. Now in the upper right, you will see my profile picture. If I click on this, this is where I'm going to be able to access my Google account. I can also change my picture here. If you haven't been in your Pilot account and haven't uploaded a picture, this will start out as the first letter of your first name. You can also add accounts and sign out from here as well. This is an icon that's going to follow you through the G Suite environment. The other one that's going to follow you is this apps menu. When you click on this app menu, this works as your navigation. So all of the apps that you have access to are located right here. So we're going to start by clicking on Gmail. This is going to load my default Gmail inbox. So let's talk about the interface. In the upper left, you have the main menu icon. This allows you to expand and contract the menu on the left-hand side. If you have it collapsed, when you hover over it, it will expand back out so you can read what the icons are. So along the left-hand side, you start with the Compose button. It's going to do exactly what it says. It's going to compose an email. And then you will see a list of 10 system labels. The first one is Inbox. This is where by default all of your email comes. Anything unread is going to be shown in bold. The next one down is Starred. You'll see in my inbox, I can click a star next to any of my emails to flag it for follow-up or to mark it as important. And I can find anything that I've starred in this label. Or the next label down is Snoozed. If you get an email that you would like to reply to at a specific date or time, this allows you to move it out of your inbox until that time comes around. Then it will bring it back into your inbox to remind you to reply to it. I'll show you how to snooze messages in just a moment. The next one is Important. You'll notice this chevron next to the emails mark things as important. If I click on this, it's going to bring up all of the emails that are marked as important. I'm going to go back to my inbox to show you that you can mark messages as important or unimportant by simply clicking and unclicking the chevron. You'll notice when I hover over it, it says click to teach Grand Rapids Community College Mail that this conversation is important. It's going to start learning who you talk to most often and will mark those conversations as important. That is a feature you can turn off in your settings. The next one down is Chats. This is going to show you any of your Hangouts conversations. The next one down is Sent, any mail that you have sent. Drafts is going to be any work in progress. As soon as you enter any information in an email, it's going to automatically save in your drafts. You can find any of those emails in this label. The next one down is All Mail. This is going to contain all of the mail that you have put into labels, archived. This is going to show absolutely every piece of mail in your mailbox. The next one down is Spam. We are still going to use Fuse Mail, but as we all know, spammers are always trying to make it past those filters. So if anything comes through, you have the option to mark it as spam. It'll be stored in this folder here. And the last one is Trash. Anything you delete will stay in your trash for 30 days and then will be deleted forever. We'll talk a little bit more about archiving versus putting things in the trash a little later in this video. If I move my chat out of the way, which we'll talk about a little later, I see this More option. When I click on the More option, it's going to show me 4 built-in categories as well. Google adds these categories automatically, and this is a feature you can shut off as well. The 4 built-in categories are social, updates, forums, and promotions. This is another feature that Google will start learning how to filter things automatically if you drag things into each of these categories. Below here, I have recreated some of my group-wise folders as labels. If I scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see Manage Labels and Create New Label. Labels are very similar to folders in GroupWise. They just have a few added features. For example, you can apply more than one label to an email. So if in the past you've decided this could go in one of 2 folders, you can put them in both now. We'll talk a little more about managing labels and creating new labels a little later in this video. We're going to jump over to the right-hand side for a moment. If we go over to the right, you'll see this gear icon. This is how you're going to access any of your settings and a few other features. And one thing I want to point out in here while we're here is this help. Google has a lot of documentation out there made to help you learn the environment. If you have any specific questions, how do I do this specific thing? This help feature is fantastic. So if you're the type of person that would rather figure things out on their own rather than calling the help desk, know that this feature is here. If we continue over to the right, you'll see some side panel apps. The first one is Calendar. Clicking on the calendar will load a one-day view of your calendar, so you can see what your schedule looks like while you're checking your mail. You can switch day to day or go to a specific day. The next one down is Google Keep. Google Keep is a separate Google app that you can access within your email and calendar. It works very similarly to a Post-it note application. You can take quick notes, you can pin them, you can also do to-do lists as well. The good thing about Keep is you can add collaborators to specific notes and add due dates so that it adds to your calendar. The next one down is Google Tasks. Tasks is a very simple interface for you to make to-do lists. You can add due dates to this that will auto-populate into your calendar. However, you cannot add collaborators. So this is a to-do list simply for your reference. We're going to talk about specific email options. If I select an email, I get a whole nother set of options along the top of the screen. So let's go over what these icons mean. The first one is Archive. Our archive system, Retain, will be around for a minimum of 3 years. So you'll still be able to access any of your archived emails through that system. However, any new emails are not going to go into that system. If you think you'll ever need to reference back to it, archive it, don't delete it. And then you can simply search for any archived mail using the search bar at the top. It's eliminating you having to sign into another system to search for archived emails. The next one over is going to be Report Spam. So if you get an email that you believe is spam, report the spam by clicking that icon. The next one over is Delete. Like I said, archive, don't delete. The next one over is Mark as Unread. Or if I would have selected the email that is unread, it would read Mark as Read instead of Mark as Unread. The next one over, this is where you snooze. If I click snooze, I can choose to snooze this message until tomorrow morning, until this weekend, or I can pick a specific date and time for it to reappear in my inbox to remind me to reply. The next one over is Move To. This is going to move the email into one of our labels on the left-hand side. The next one over is Labels. This is going to apply a label without moving it from the inbox. To add a label, simply select one of your labels and then click Apply at the bottom. This will add the little flag next to your email to remind you that that label has been applied to that email. The next one over shows you a few more options as well. And now that we've gone over the interface, we're going to actually compose an email. If you go over to the Compose button, it's going to pop up a little window in the bottom right. Now, you do have the option to make this full screen. If you go to the arrows at the top, this is going to pop it out to the full screen. If you prefer this view and would like it to default to this view, down next to the garbage can, there's 3 vertical dots, and you can choose to default to full screen. I'm going to go back to the normal view. First, I'm going to put in a recipient, one of my coworkers. From here, I have the option to CC or BC people to this email. And I'm going to type in a subject. Clicking anywhere under this line will allow me to start typing the body of the email. You might notice when I start typing, "Hi Melissa," it automatically populates for me. This is the Smart Compose feature. If I click tab from this point, It's automatically going to complete that line for me, saving some valuable time. If that's a feature you do not like, don't worry, you can turn it off and we'll show you how to do that. I already have my signature made, so it's automatically inserted into my email. Unfortunately, Gmail does not contain a click to add signature feature, so you either have signature turned on or turned off. But it's very simple to just highlight and delete if you do not wish to include it in the email. Along the bottom, you'll see a few options. You have the send button, as well as some formatting options. Clicking this A will show or hide the formatting bar. The next one over allows you to attach files from your computer. The next icon allows you to insert a link. Clicking on here will allow you to choose different text to display, so you do not have to display the URL, which is great when you have long strings of letters and numbers. The next one over allows you to insert emojis, and the next one over allows you to insert files using Google Drive. When you insert files from your Google Drive, it allows you to insert as a Drive link or as an attachment to the email, so people do not have to access it through Google Drive. Then we have insert photo. This allows you to insert a photo directly into the email, not as an attachment. And the last one is our confidential mode. Turning on confidential mode will allow you to set an expiration date on a specific email. Options for the recipient to forward the mail is disabled, as well as to copy, print, or download the email's content. You can set the amount of time, or if a passcode is required, to read said email. If I wanted to discard this draft, I would simply hover over the trash can in the bottom right and click discard. To view an unread email, I can simply click on the email that is bolded in my inbox. You'll notice this is one that I sent to myself from my production account as a test. Since I'm asking myself a question, Google gives me some smart reply options. I can simply choose one of them, it'll insert it into a reply, and I can send. I also have this send and archive button enabled. This allows me to reply to an email and immediately archive the email so that it's out of my inbox. I know that I've replied to it and it will automatically go away. If you do not like the smart reply option, that is an option that you can turn off. If I discard this draft, and you can see that I also have the option to simply reply or forward the message down here. By default, Google has all messages in conversation threads. If I go back to my inbox, you'll notice a few of my emails have little numbers next to them. That means there's 3 different emails included in this one item. Clicking on this will show me that there's 1, 2, 3 emails. If you prefer to see this as 3 separate emails, that is a setting you can change. Now we're going to get into some of the settings, including creating a signature and vacation reminders. So if we go up to our gear and then go down to settings, this is going to bring us into our general settings. Within here, you'll notice the Smart Compose option. This is where you can turn that off. Conversation view can be turned on and off from here as well. If I scroll down slightly, you'll see where you can enable the send and archive button, as well as turn on and off smart reply. If we continue to scroll down, you will see the section labeled signature. So like I said, you have to either turn the signature off or on, but you can compose your signature in this text box. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom of this general settings page, you will see the vacation responder. You can choose to have the vacation responder on or off, and then choose which day it's going to start. So if you're not going on vacation until next week, you can set it up to start responding to emails starting next week. You can also choose the last day as well, so you don't continue to send messages after you've returned. From here, you can type the subject in the message. Leaving these checkboxes unchecked will allow this reply to be sent to anybody who sends you a message. You can also choose to only send a response to people in your contacts or only send a response to people at GRCC. Remember, any changes you make on this page be sure to click Save Changes at the bottom. And the next thing we're going to cover is inbox themes. This is going to allow you to customize your inbox. If you go back to the gear and then go down to themes, this allows you to choose different photos to be the background of your inbox. If you scroll down, you'll also notice you can select more images or just plain colors. Selecting a color will change the background of your inbox. You can also choose photos from your computer to upload as the background of your inbox as well. Anything you pick, make sure you click Save. Now you have a customized inbox. So setting a different theme will allow you to change the look and feel of your inbox. The next thing we're going to cover is Google Hangouts. You'll notice in the bottom left, we have this little chat area. I moved down in order to see the labels. If I click this plus sign, it allows me to start a new conversation. If I type in a coworker's name and click enter, a message box will show up in the bottom right. I can then type a message and send an instant message to them. Those messages are going to show up along the left-hand side, as well as in this chat system label on the left-hand side. Google has a few instant messaging platforms. Hangouts is one that is going away and being replaced by Google Chat. If we go back to our apps menu, you will see chat on here. This is going to open a new tab with the web version of chat. I can see any ongoing messages along the left-hand side. You'll also notice that your apps menu and your Google account icon has followed you here. So if I want to navigate to another app, I can simply click the apps menu. We're going to look at contacts now. Now this is where any of your contacts are going to be stored. You'll also notice on the left-hand side, frequently contacted, the directory, the list of everyone in the domain, and duplicates. If you communicate with somebody who may have two separate email addresses, they would show up in this duplicates area and you could merge them together. You also have labels in your contacts. And this is going to allow you to create a personal contact group. So I've created a label called family. I can apply this label to any contact and find an entire list of family members right here. To show you how to add a label, I'm going to go into the directory and hover over the first person in the list. If I click more actions, I can go down to labels, and now that person has been labeled as my family. If I go over to the left, I will now see that contact in my family label. To create a label, you simply click Create Label and choose anything and click Save. If you click More, you'll see the option to import and export contacts, as well as print a list of contacts and delegate access to your contact lists. I can also undo any changes that I've made. This will allow me to restore my contacts back to the way they were 10 minutes ago, an hour ago, etc. I'm going to say undo changes up to 1 hour ago. Click Confirm. Now it might take it a few minutes, but you will see that it now tells me that my contact list has been changed back to how it was an hour ago. You'll notice that my Awesome People label is gone, as well as my second individual in my family label. Other contacts is going to be anybody that you've ever communicated with via email, calendar, or chat. You also have a few settings you can change, including sorting by first name or last name. You can send feedback to Google and seek help with your contacts. The last app we're going to look at is Google Groups. So if we go back to our apps menu, you might notice that Google Groups is not here. I can either scroll down from here or click this More button to see more Google apps. Now you can see Groups. I'm going to click on that and it's going to bring me to my default Groups page. If I click on My Groups, I'll see all of the groups that I'm a member of. Distribution lists, including employee groups, are going to be created as Google Groups. From this page, you can choose if you receive email updates for every new message, daily summaries, or 25 messages per email. Or if you do not wish to receive emails to your inbox from this group, you can choose don't send email updates. And again, groups will be explained in more detail in the advanced class. For the most up-to-date information, make sure you visit grcc.edu/goinggoogle. You can also visit the G Suite Learning Center to find a lot of really useful tutorials and information on using this system. You can also connect with Google Guides by emailing googleguides@grcc.edu or viewing a list of our guides at our Going Google page as well. I hope you've learned something from this video. Thank you for your time.